Hey,
Can you see me?
I can see you.
I can't see Steve on my side.
I can see you.
So we can. I'm looking at. There we go. Sir, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you? Appreciate you
I'm
having
very well.
me.
Huh?
Appreciate you having me.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on and supporting the hobby.
Oh, I was excited to do it. I was excited to kind of come on, and I appreciate you guys giving me the chance to come on and tell you a little about Red Monster. And just I made a little bullet point list, and there's a few things I want to talk about too. And some are controversial, some are not, some are cool, and some are not. And some things I want to hear what you have to say about because everybody's got their thoughts on Facebook about what is and what isn't and all that good stuff. So, I'm curious what other people think that's, not on the Eastern, shore and all that good stuff. So, you know what I mean?
No, 100%. We'll get into some of that, as you said, a little bit later. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll start off.
Okay. I'm Steve Larson. I am the person that is basically in charge of Red Monster Tire Prep. From Southern Maryland, we race local down here, and we race in Virginia. We go to Delaware, do little things like that. I haven't done too many of the big races, only because I just haven't really had too much time. But I have seen that the Red Monster Prep has made its way to Australia. I mean, it's done pretty good. We started somewhere around March, and it kind of was a little fluke. It's my son had a school project, and they had to design something, and it wasn't too elaborate, like you would do in college, but they had to think of an idea, think of a project, think of something they wanted to make and they could sell. And being that he does RC with me every week, he was like, all right, well, let's do some sauce. So I was like, all right. So one day we were driving to get some lunch. We were going to Mod Pizza, and he goes, I know what I want to do. I know what it looks like. I was like, well, what does it look like? So he shows me the phone, and he shows me, the Red Monster, the picture of Red Monster. Now, it wasn't called Red Monster, but it was just that picture. So I was like, all right, well, it looks like a red monster. So we'll call it Red Monster. And from there, so we had a cool picture of it. And then I was like, all right, well, now what do we do with it then? What color is it going to be? What's it going to smell like? So we did that. The report's done. And then one day he comes to me and says, what if we do this for real? I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, what if we make this a real something? And I said, well, I don't know. So we started playing around in the garage, just like any father and son would do, and mixing this with that, and, got lucky. It wasn't like I'm a chemist or anything like that. I didn't set out to be some prep guy like Kelly or, Reaction Time or MRP. I mean, those are great guys like, Get Stuck and Got Launch and, all those guys. But we played around with it, and we got lucky, and, my fingers stuck together, and I thought, oh crap. I mean, maybe this would be decent. So, I got enough pairs of tires. So we stuck it on some tires, played with it, and tried it. It was decent. Let some friends try it. They thought it was decent. They let some friends try it. And then it kind of took off from there. It wasn't like there was this huge, premeditated thought that, I'm going to be some Kelly Ray or, Tony Poet, from Reaction Time, something like that, or a Steve Matthews. I didn't just wake up one day and go, hey, let's do this. But it kind of turned into, hey, this is all right. And then I started bringing it to the track and letting some people try it. And they're like, hey, I want to get it. And that kind of turned into kind of like the old Advil commercial. 2 people told 2 people told 2 people. And then I kind of sent it to some bigger name guys and, some guys that everybody's heard of. And, some people – responded and some people didn't. And, some people said, hey, this is good. And some people say, hey, this, no one said it sucked, but, some people, said, hey, this is pretty cool. You might want to try, thicken it up, or it's a little too watery or this or that. And then I was like, all right, well, cool. So, you take all this feedback, just like anything else, you take all this advice, wrote it all down, thought, okay. And then becomes, okay, how do we take this clear liquid? How do we change this into a color that nobody has? Well, You can't just go on the internet and go, okay, how do you change traction compound from clear to blue or red? I trust me. I looked. It's hard. And the beginning stages of Red Monster, it was clear. You had to shake it like that to become red, and like some magical potion or something like that. And then it took a while to figure out how to do that. And then you have to figure out, okay, well, now that I got it red, how do I figure out how to make it smell sexy? It's not like something you just, going to clean your toilet with. But at the same time, how do I make it smell sexy, good, seductive, and yet not change the compound of what it is? You know what I mean? So how do I smell like Dior, but still, make you run like a 1.8? You know what I mean? So it took some time to figure that out. And then, we kind of fine-tuned it, let some friends try it. They gave some advice. A lot of guys, from Team Tuna Can, Team KPRC, PRC, we let a lot of guys try it, and, they're all good friends of ours. And, the Glen Burnie guys, they're brutally honest. If it sucks, they're going to say, hey, it sucks, and, you got to take it. It's okay, it's not good. And, or it's good on this surface, but it's not good on another surface. So how do we fix that? I mean, it's tough. I mean, I was scrolling down the wormhole the other day, and I saw a post from Frank Ulbrich, and he had like 6 moving boxes of prep, I guess, that people had sent him or he had bought or one or the other. And I was like, I couldn't believe how many preps there were. I mean, it must have been, 6 moving boxes of prep. I mean, there had to have been hundreds of them. I mean, it was like Friendly's Ice Cream made a prep. CVS made a traction compound. I mean, everybody and their brother Sears made a prep. It was like, holy crap. And then, just like everybody else is prep that was in there, and it's like, holy crap. So, it's like there's a lot of people that do it, and there's a million concoctions of, what can be sticky, but, does it work? Does it hold? Does the temperature have affected? Is it take an hour to come off, or, all that good stuff. So that we had to play with all that, figure out what was going to work. And, eventually that spiraled into, okay, well, the sticky stuff is going pretty good. So, we were sitting in the garage. I was sitting in Brad Poole's garage one day, and he was like, you got to come up with a cleaner. And then we were thinking about it. And the reason that conversation came up was because I was using bug guts from Kelly. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's taken so long for me to take this razor blade and scrape it off the tires. I was getting one test pass, an hour. Well, maybe a little bit more than that, but it was taking so long. So I was like, we got to come up with something to get bug guts off faster than, what I'm doing, spinning with a drill. Or wasn't even spinning with a drill. I was taking a razor blade and kind of turning the wheel and turning with that. And I was like, we got to come up with something better. So, I tried to figure out what I could do. And I came up with what we got right here, which is Aqua Ice. And Aqua Ice, figured out how to make it smell good, smell sexy. And then I had to make it work, and I see everybody buying 25 cans of brake clean. So I was like, all right, well, how do I eliminate that? How do I stop everybody from buying 20 cans of brake clean and get this? And then, for example, naphtha works really good, but it's illegal in Maryland. You can own it, but you can't buy it.
It's illegal. It's illegal, and like in California too. Like we have to, when we go race, we take it to people out there. So yeah.
Yeah, I would talk to people like Mark Vaughn or someone else. Like, well, how do you get this? Where is it? What is it? You know what I mean? Because I would see stuff at Home Depot that looked similar to it, like lacquer thinner. Like the can was similar. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, but that's not. Yep. But that wasn't what they used. So I had to figure out, okay, how do I make something that we can't get good enough for that? And then we did. And that was a little bit easier. Taking off is a little bit easier than making stick. Making the cleaner was a little bit easier than that. So the whole purpose of Aqua Ice was to make my life easier for bug guts. It wasn't even to sell. It was just like, how can I hurry up and do this so I can get 4 testeds in, while everybody else is, not, if they weren't using that, they were using something else. And I figured if I can make it work on bug guts, then, I'm gold. I can make anything work. And then I figured out how to do it. And then the feedback I got from that was it was so much of a deep cleaner that it was taking all the stick off, which is really good. It's something, we want to use at the beginning of the day and like at the end of the day. Like when you're done, you want to kind of like the old Oxy pads, like you'd see in the 80s, take off all the, damn near
Yes,
sandblast your face. And that's kind of what that did. So then I had some guys that were running VXL and they're like, I don't want to take all the stick off. I want something that's like in the between the rounds. So then came up with this dude right here, Power Scrape. Power Scrape will basically, I did a video the other night. It will basically clean your tire in between rounds, spin it with a little 4-volt drill, do a couple coats of that with a Scotch pad, and that will take all the crud off. So basically that right there helps me, and it was helping a bunch of people, take the bug guts off when we were trying bug guts, and it's good stuff. I'm not scared to say that I talked to Kelly and, from Sticky Icky and Steve Matthews from MRP. And, I'm friendly with those guys. I mean, you don't have to hate everybody because they sell the same thing.
No.
Tony Poet from Reaction Time, super cool guy, really nice. Every time I've reached out to him, been nothing but nice to me. Pretty much everyone's pretty cool. I mean, I've only really had one run-in with somebody that basically messaged me on Messenger and basically told me they weren't happy with what I was doing. But, you're going to get that. No one's going to – people are haters, I mean, some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate you. I mean, it's just kind of what it is. So, we figured that out. And then we started learning about conditioners, and there's a lot of good conditioners out there, and people are doing good. And some of the guys are friendly, and some of the guys are, know their stuff's good, and they're, some people are a little bit cocky, but if your stuff's good, there's nothing wrong with being cocky. So then we got into this right here, which is the Invigorator, Red Monster Invigorator, and that's our conditioner, and that does really good. And is it better than somebody else's? I don't know. I mean, I bought, the other stuff from the guys, and it's good. I don't have anything bad to say. So. Can you hear me or no?
I would say no. It don't look like he can hear you.
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear us. We're behind the scenes.
Oh.
Hey, Bill, can you hear me, Bill? Go back to the settings like I told you.
Or go out and come back in.
Or you can go out and come back in. Maybe it'll work. But Bill, don't worry. You still look pretty. I'll tell you what, man.
Okay, so he can hear me, but I just can't hear him.
I guess that's what it is. Tell
sounds good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put you on the main screen. I'm gonna get out here and you talk, and then I'm gonna call him and we'll get him back in. You talk about your stuff, and then we'll get him back in for questions in a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, so anyway, this is the stuff that right here, the Invigorator. That's what we're using for the conditioner, and we had a lot of good success with it. We had a lot of people try it, and they said a lot of good things. The prep holds real good to it, and it's worked out really, really good. And the latest thing that we've come out with is we just released this the other day.
Yeah.
It's the Black Label. The Black Label it's a little bit stronger than the original OG Red Monster. And we thought we let a few people try it, and we thought we were going to have a release about a few weeks ago, but we tried it on some surfaces, and it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be the bomb diggity. I wanted people to try it, and it wasn't perfect from one surface to another. It wasn't as good as I thought it could be. So I took it back. We played with it a little bit more. I gave it to some more friends after I did a little bit of testing and some changes, and it turned out to be a lot better. And we're really proud of it. And that's kind of what we want that to be, right now. So now we are ready to release it. We sold a bunch of it, and, I'm not going to sell anything that I don't use myself or believe in or think is just good. I mean, again, it started out just being silly and messing around and, coming up with the craziest names we could come up with for it. And, Black Label was something that a friend of mine, Kevin, came up with. We were talking about what's the coolest thing we could call it. So we were like single malt the full body prep, everything you want, nothing you don't. We were like making commercials for it, like how badass could we make this sound? And it's pretty cool. So but then we have the the OG red monster right here. It started off red, but the problem was everybody and their brother. What I was trying to do was make a prep. I was trying to figure out colors, and I didn't see a whole lot of people had red. So I was like, all right, well, red monster, I'm going to make it red. And but then, I started looking and, people are coming out with red this and red that. And I was like, man, I don't want to be the same as everybody else. So even though it's red monster, we had to change, or I decided to make the change to, purple. So we're going to do purple for right now. And one thing that I wanted to do was with the new run of labels was I put, if you can see this right here, I put directions on it. And that's one thing that I didn't see anybody had on their prep, because everybody gets their prep. They say, okay, how do you use it? Well, I put directions on it. I try to be a little swifter with the, with the stuff I put on it, like shake well. Obviously, it says, do not swallow, just in case a little kid gets it, because at the end of the day, I mean, that is something that a little kid will look at and think, ooh, that's kind of cool. And then, is this, this is not a drink, so the more I, was chit chatting with Steve Matthews from MRP, he was like, you make it smell too great, some little kid's going to drink it and then it's lights out, forget about the rest of your life. So that was enough to kind of make me stay up at night and kind of go, yeah, I don't know how sexy and seductive I want to make this smell. So, we made it smell a little bit, but just enough so it's not like turpentine. So that's what we figured out with that. And, but, a few things that else I wanted to talk about was, when I finished watching the first video with Tony, I called Tony up and I was like, hey man, really cool video. I thought it was great. Again, I'm friendly with him and, I don't know if a lot of these other guys are friendly with everybody else, but, and then I watched Kelly's video last night and I reached out to Kelly and I was like, hey man, cool, good deal, great video. And so that was pretty cool. And one thing that I noticed that Kelly said in his last video was he said, I make prep to go on concrete and to go on asphalt. And I thought about that because he said that now you're having to make prep to go on top of prep, because what's happening is you go to these bigger tracks and you have 175 people like at Wisconsin. And if they run 5 times, you got 1,000 runs on that track, between either lane. So, I heard a few people say at the starting line, you had a 1/4 inch thick of sauce. Now, I mean, then I heard some other people saying they had to have their first dot like at 60% just to take off. I mean, people were burning, ESCs up left and right because, you almost had to have the ESC on full blast just to take off. And, and they're doing a lot of good times there. But one thing that I think is impressive about where we live in Maryland versus in Arizona, and the other places that are hotter, not trying to sing out Arizona or somebody like that, but, it doesn't get too hot. I mean, it gets hot in Maryland, but it's not like Arizona hot, so what, when we have 12 to 15 people and, last week we had, one of our guys, he ran 95, almost 96 miles an hour, Kevin Jean, and a good friend of mine. And, when you have 12 people running, say they run 5 times, okay, say you got 60 runs down, that's not 1,000 passes. So for me, I think it's kind of impressive to see that, you can go 95, 96 miles an hour and you don't have what's considered, none of it starts off to be a prep track, but when you get 1,000 runs, no matter what you believe, it's sticky all the way through. I mean, when you got little kids and they're walking on the starting line and their shoes are getting ripped off, I mean, you don't get that from 12 racers in Maryland. You know what I mean? It's just a little different. And then it gets kind of controversial, and I read on Facebook all the time, people crying about, leaving marks. And that's a big, controversial topic. You're not supposed to leave marks, but people are leaving marks. But then again, if you have 175 people running 5 times, you're going to leave some mark, I'm guessing, I mean, and then if you see a mark, is that going to be, at what point is it a not, what is it a no prep? I mean, it is, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad about it. I mean, for me, it's easier if it leaves marks and it's fine. I don't care. You know what I mean? If you say to me, hey, it can't leave a mark, then, my stuff doesn't leave marks, but you put enough of anything down, it's going to leave something, I mean, I don't seek out to try to make it so it, leaves mark, but you get enough of anything down, it's going to leave something, it's just, especially if it's light asphalt, depending on where you are. So you're going to have marks with that. So there's that. And I wrote a few things down that I wanted to talk about. And one of them was the leaving marks on the ground. But another thing I wanted to talk about was like, where all the bigger guys race, you get all these heavy hitters together. I think that's awesome. I can't wait to go out and see, meet all the guys that I've talked to and all that stuff. But for me, one of the questions I was going to ask you was, if you see someone run a 155, does that make you want to not come to the race?
No.
Because for me, it makes me want to work harder. Now, this is what I feel like in my mind. I see that, again, kind of like what we talked about. If you have a ton of people, like 300 people at a race, and everyone's running 3-4 times, you're going to get a lot of prep down on that track. It's going to let you run better than you would normally run with 8 people, on a 80-degree day. You know what I mean? So you're going to be able to throw some power to it, and people have to understand that, when you have more people, you have more ability to run faster, because there's a lot more prep down, there's more time in between rounds, you're not, when you have 10 people there, you got to rush, go. When you have 300 people there, it could be a day in between rounds. I mean, you don't even know. So that's the thing that doesn't frustrate me. Like, you get better by racing faster people, Yes. I would love to go one of those races and talk to all those guys, all the big guys, that you read about and talk about, and they're doing this. And, someone's always pissed off about something. Someone's always, you're not allowed to do this, or you're using too much of that, or it's whatever, no matter what you do, you can golf and people are going to be pissed off. You know what I mean? You can drink a Mountain Dew too fast. People are going to be pissed off. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Stay in your lane, right?
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about was teletunes. I think it's pretty cool. You call somebody up and you say, hey, man, I got the same car as you. And, can you help me out with the tune? Well, for some people it gets frustrating, but you have to understand that if I call a Kelly Ray or a Mark Vine or somebody in Arizona, and they say, okay, I'm doing X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, and F, I have to realize that, okay, their sun is different than ours. Their asphalt's different than ours. Their surface is different than ours. None of that is the same. They're not in an 80-degree humid day in Maryland. They're in, almost desert-like, sun. So it's all different. So you can't bash these guys that are giving you the tune. That's what I think, because their situation is different than yours. I mean, even if I build 2 of the same cars, they're not going to run the same. So even if I call Smashy up and say, Smashy, dude, hook me up with a tune, he tells me the P values or whatever, and it doesn't work for me. Well, he's there. You have to understand that. You have to make variances for that. I can't just say, oh, it didn't work, And if you don't snap your fingers and it's not perfect, people cry. You know what I mean? And it's gotta work. This is like golf. If it was easy, everybody could do it. You can leave. I mean, last year we had a 66-foot race. I was in the finals of my no bar and I ran a 135. And last year we thought that was fast. This year they're in the 120s and 10s, and it's crazy how fast you can go from one season to another. It's incredible. I mean, the very first time we started doing this and I ran a 278, I thought it went so fast it was going to go back in time. I was like, I had a guy named Drew Sparks. He was standing next to me, and I was so proud of that run because it was like the second run I ever ran. And, you know, nobody around us had cars. We were watching Daniel Judd and, you know, Ricky Bellotti and, you know, Randy on the YouTube channel, and we were getting all our information from them. And we thought it was great. You know, we were like, oh man, you know, and they had the Traxxas, and Randy was the only one that had Associated, and, you know, it was crazy, you know, and so we got a lot of information from them, and, you know, we got our 4.5s, and, you know, we didn't know what the hell to gear it at. And, you know, some people did, and some people didn't. We were listening. Then we got turned on to Mark Vine, and we were glued to the TV, and, you know, to see what he was saying. And because we didn't know anything, you know, we listened to Kelly talk. And the first time the first sauce I used was Papa Willie's, I think it was like off-road sauce, Papa Willie's traction, whatever, which was cool. You know what I mean? It worked all right. And then a friend of ours, Puckett, we went up to Richmond and race, and he gave me some of Kelly's Beetlejuice. And I put that stuff in my tire, and I thought it was the same stuff, just, you know, it smelled different. Well, anyway, we go to the line. I go to take off, and it was so much traction, you know, because it was like kind of like dry, well, not dry tire, but, you know, it wasn't like it was now. But it was so much traction, it ripped the tires, both tires off my wheels. And I was like, holy crap. And I scrubbed to get that stuff off because my car wasn't set up for that. And it was some crazy stuff. So that was definitely a learning piece. Another thing I want to talk about is
let me say it's funny that you bring up Daniel Judd, and not funny, but we were glued to their shows. Do you remember that? My son and I were glued, and we'd literally, everything they'd say, we'd put it on our car and then hurry up and go outside, you know? And it's funny, you know, you're actually hitting every question that I had is how this whole thing has evolved to where it's at now. We all thought when we ran that 278, like you said, we were jumping up and down.
I can remember Daniel Judd saying he could only get 3 hits out of a set of tires. And I was like, holy crap, 3 hits? I was like, no, I can't. I hate gluing tires anyway. I have my buddy glue the tires. And I was like, because I hate it. I'd rather mow the grass for 10 hours than glue tires. Some people love it. I just, it's like painting. I just don't want to do it. But, you know, watching those shows, you know, we learned a lot. And, you know, it was exciting, you know, listen to them talk about, we want to break into the 70 miles an hour and don't know if technology will let us do it. You know, look at it now. Now, last week, you know,
96.
Kevin Jean is running 95 point something miles an hour. And there's so many haters that say, oh, this and that and the timing system and whatever. Everyone's going to hate. Everyone's going to say, you know.
And you just literally learn to just, we don't even listen to it no more.
Yeah, the better you do, the people, even me, it's like, you know, I read stuff, I'm like, damn, I wish that was me. Damn, I wish I was me. Damn, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I was like, I want to be sitting next to Ricky Bellotti, drinking a beer, talking about whatever, going to the big race. You know what I mean? I thought that was awesome. You know, I mean, I want to be sponsored by, you know, Phantom and best friends with Craig Phillips and, you know, all those dudes and everything. And, you know, when you're in California, all that stuff's right there. When we're in Southern Maryland, Charles County, it's not there. You know what I mean? Right. You know, I can't even get naphtha. You know, I have to order it off eBay for $50 for a gallon, you know, if I want that. You know what I mean? So.
Wow. But go ahead on to your point.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was cleaning tires. You know, I walked into their trailer and I watched how they clean tires. And the one thing that I got to say is if you do not clean your tires right, I don't care if you have the best prep. I don't care if you have NASA, space age, nuclear, bomb diggity, whatever, you know, ice cube prep. It's not going to work. I saw him take his hand, spin it around, wipe, spin it around, wipe, spin around, wipe. And it was just the worst way you can clean your tire. The best way that I've seen to clean the tire is this: spray whatever you're going to spray, or put this stuff on, power scrape, aqua ice, put it on. Use a small drill to spin the tire, whether you like to do it on the car, off the car, whatever your preference is, that is going to take all the gunk off. And what that's going to do is that's going to let that prep soak into your tire like crazy. If you do not, the ideal way is if your tire, once you finish spinning it onto that rag with whatever you have on it, whatever you like, some people like brake clean, some people like naphtha, some people like whatever, it has to be clean. If you're still pulling black off the tire on the rag, that prep is not going to be happy. It's kind of like this. If you don't shower for a week, you feel like dog shit. If you shower every night, you feel great. And that's kind of how those tires are. If you don't clean those tires right, you're putting shit over top of shit. And what's going to happen? It's not going to stick. It's going to fall off, So you can have the car set up, you can have the Frank set your car up, Mark set your car up, Tommy Burgess, whoever. But if your tires suck, tires are 50% of the game. If your tires suck, I don't care if you got the best voodoo in the world. If your tire looks like a turd just fell on top of it, and you try to throw a prep on that, it's not going to take it. It's not going to work, And Christina Poole has glued my tires over the years. Brad Poole is glued my tires. Aaron Gardner is glued I'm trying to read some of the comments.
That's what I was going to ask you. These guys they're really heckling you over here on these comments.
They do. And
Brian Elkins is Brian's trying to give you a hard time on here too.
I like Brian. Brian's a good dude. Brian, he just did a video with some monster stuff the other day, and super nice guy. Brian was actually the first guy that I sent stuff to, and he was nice enough to give me feedback. And matter of fact, Brian, I just sent you some stuff a couple days ago, so let me know what you think of that. And
Brian, guys, that is like in his post he put up the other day on Facebook, he supports everybody, you know what I mean? And he's a good guy for the hobby.
Yeah. He's a super nice guy. But back to, watching, Daniel and Randy and Ricky, that was fun. That was great. And, we didn't know that 2 years from now, cars would be going almost 100 miles an hour. I don't get offended. What's that?
Do you think we're going to see 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, because we're right there. I mean, Kevin was at 96, almost 96 the other day. And you get the right temperature, the right surface. And that was a 12-car field. Imagine if there was 100 cars there and the track was glued all the way down. Some people say, a prep track is harder to go on. I mean, I don't know. I've never done it, but people say that it is. I talked to AJ Marasco in Florida. He's a good friend of mine. We chit chat, like every few days. And he doesn't change his tune, but a lot of people, they do. And like, I don't know that I could run on a prep track. I mean, they say it's harder. I don't know. Friend of mine, Daniel Thomas, I see him I'm trying to look at some of the comments on the side. He lived right by me, and then he just moved to Florida, not far from AJ, and he said it's a whole new world. And I can't even imagine, going from – because this is what we used to do. In the beginning, I would talk to AJ. I would say, how do you do your burnout? We would take a carpet and burn the tires for 15 seconds with the RX-8. Of course, he didn't use the RX-8, but I would burn them for 15 seconds with Papa Willie's or whatever it was called, on there to get my tires smoking hot, push down on the car because I saw Brad Poole or somebody do it, just push down on, it does nothing other than just, I don't know, I feel like I have to do it. And then the car would be straight glued every time. And then once everybody was using, other stuff, gremlin goo or something, I finally graduated to, all right, well, let me try some of that because, I was perfectly happy with the off-road stuff and I was doing okay. I mean, in Richmond, 3 years ago, I ran with a no bar 68 miles an hour. And I was like, that's it. It can't go any faster. But, little did I know, we're almost going 100 miles an hour now, so it's wild. So, it's crazy to see, how far we've come. I mean, I don't know, maybe they'll be flying in the air, I mean, the stuff that, everyone's learned, and it's just crazy. Trying to look at some of the comments on the side.
it's funny how you brought up every single point. Like my son and I will sit and laugh about, and it's true. You know, I remember when we met Rocco in Las Vegas, the gentleman who was he was in the drag scene, and he said, Bill, as long as you can get Caden's car to do 60 miles an hour, you're going to be one of the fastest guys in the United States. So we shot for 60 miles an hour. We would hit 59, 57, and 58, and then 59. We hit 60, and we're like, that's it. We got this. And then you see a post, 72 miles an hour. Oh, come on.
Yeah. You know, last season, well, for the first 2 seasons, I ran a DR10. I didn't want to. I wanted to run a mid-motor, but my buddy, Bo Lagana, was like, it was me, Bo, and Brad Poole. And we were going to run 3 different cars. It was the very beginning of the infancy of this whole, no prep thing. And we were going to run. We didn't know which was better because nobody had done it. So I wasn't going to run the DR10. I bought it for my son, Chase. I was going to run. I forget what I had, but I had something else. Bo was going to run some aluminum chassis, and Brad had a B4. And we were going to see which was better. Well, anyway, long story short, the DR10 did pretty good for me. That was the rear motor. Well, anyway, they ended up having mid motors. But by the end of the last year, I thought, and this, the story, the moral of this is, I was running a 200. I think I got it down to like a 198 no bar. And that was fast for the end of last year. It was one of the fastest that we had heard about for rear motor. Now, I knew like Mike Zippy did like a 195, but that was a mid motor. But, rear motor, you have to stack, 300 ounces of weight, which is what I think I had on mine on DR10. But, you got to go 75 miles an hour at, it was like a 198, I think was the best I could do, like a 2.0, something like that. And,
right.
I thought that was like the greatest in the world. And I knew somebody would beat it. You know what I mean? I didn't think for a second that, once our season ended, like in November, that it was not going to be destroyed. And of course, it was. And, it's a little heartbreaking because, you think in your mind, because it was like me and Corey Lively were the only 2 people left that had rear motor. Everybody else had graduated to the mid motor stuff. And, so I tried to, take as much glory as I could. We went down to North Carolina and raced with, biscuits and trash money. And, I think I ended up pulling off a 204 there. And, the only reason I lost was because my tire fell off, and I raced my teammate Brad, and it was weird all weekend. My tire rolled off against Brad. The night before, his tire rolled off against whoever. And then the night before, his brother's voodoo rolled off against. So I don't know if there was a conspiracy there or what, but it was fun. And I did beat Kevin Jean, by the way. Still have the receipt on my refrigerator from North Carolina. So, had that tire not rolled off, I think I would have hurt some feelings. I think there was only like 6 cars left out of the whole field. But
Steve, what was that name again? Let's make sure that name was said again. He's on here right now. Let's make sure. Who was that person you beat?
Oh, Kevin Jean from Glen Burnie,
Okay.
KPRC, super fast guy, super nice guy. I talk to him every day. And Kevin Jean and Timmy G and, William Centennial, good dudes. They're on, they're the opposing team, but they're good friends of ours. We give them a lot of stuff. I give them some stuff to try out. Tell me if it sucks. Is it too greasy, too oily? Does it stink too much? Does it smell good? Does it, is it going to work on this surface? Does it bark? So, those guys are, they tell me, I'd rather hear from them than, send it to a big name guy in California. And they're like, this is trash. It's dog crap, but, it's turned out to be pretty good. If they say, hey, it's this, I adjust it, we go ahead with it and, it works out good. So,
are you seeing your comments that are coming through right now? What about losing the Larsens?
Yeah, there was at the end of last year. It still wakes me up in the middle of the night and I cry.
So you lose sleep over it?
Yeah, I still wake up screaming, and have to see therapy about it. It was called the King of the Hill or something, King of the Hill, and then it ended up being me. For the first 2 years, it was me in the finals. I don't remember who I was in the finals with the first year, but the second year, I was in the finals with a guy named Larson, which is Josh Maggio's son. Josh is the person that, puts on the races every week, does a great job. And, we knew that his son was just down the tree. He just cut people's heads off on the tree. And the plan that we all had was I was going to my car went straight. So I was going to look at his car. And then when he took off, I was going to take off. That way, he wouldn't just destroy me on the tree that bad. So in the last second, I panicked and I thought, I can do this. You know what I mean? And I looked at my car and he was 10 cars out. And when I took off and, had there been another foot, this is what he told me. So I can only assume it's true because I can't see that far, But had there been another foot, he said I would have got him. But, the race was 66 feet, not 67. So I lost. And it was hurt. It hurt, you know what I mean? Because he came up to me and said, hey, do you want to split? And of course, me being the smart ass that I was like, I don't know. I'll let you know. Kind of like the Street Outlaws guy, dude. They're like, what lane are you going to be in? And I was like, I don't know, whichever one you're not in or, whatever. Yeah. But so anyway, I ended up losing and, he was cool. We split and all that stuff. But, it was a VXL car, and it just goes to show you, if you lose on the tree, you've lost a race. He cracked my ass, and I wake up screaming in the middle of the night sometimes, and people are like, "What happened? What happened?" You break your leg? No, I'm just having flashbacks to sleeping on the tree. So, it's you know what I mean. If you sleep on the tree, it doesn't matter how good you are, how sexy you are, whatever, how cool you walk. You sleep on that tree, it's lights out London. You're done. It's over. You know what I mean? So. That's it. So you can't sleep on the tree. That's the moral to that story.
I don't know if you were watching the Wisconsin, all the races up there. Shelby Tabios was cutting that tree.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I did see the end of that. And it was pretty incredible. It's cool. To watch stuff like that. When you live, so far away, and we know all these people. We've talked to them online, and then you see them. And, it's sometimes you see these big name guys. They go out the first round. You're like, what happened? You're just like, And then sometimes you see people that win that you've never heard of. But then sometimes you see people that extremely well who these people are, and they're holding a check for $20,000, and you're like, holy crap! That's a lot of money to win to play. And I don't call them toy cars, but it's definitely a big payday. You know what I mean?
To win at doing a hobby.
Yeah. I can only assume, I don't know how much you make in fishing or, whatever, deer hunting, but I can't imagine you come back from a day's or weekend trip and you've got 20,000 blickeronis in your wallet. You know what I mean? So.
No, that's the biggest payout so far, isn't it? Is King of the Streets was $20,000, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think it's cool that a woman won, you know what I mean? She's super nice and really cool. And, of course it doesn't hurt to have, your partner being amazing himself. You know what I mean? It's, you're a double threat, you know what I mean? So anybody that says this sport or whatever you want to call it is for all guys, that's not the case. No. Anybody can be fast. You know what I mean? And people think, oh, you just pull the trigger A to B. No, it's not like that. If it was that simple, I get yelled at all the time. When you're not working on your car, you're thinking about your car. When you're not thinking about your car, you're talking about your car. When you're not talking about your car, you're texting about the car. So there's a lot. It consumes your life. I'm not gonna lie. It does. It's consuming. If you want to be good, I've had people come to me and say, I thought you're going to be a lot more fun at the racetrack, but you get so tunnel vision in what you're doing. I have to walk next door to Brad's trailer to get cigarettes from him just to smoke, just to calm down. I almost need to start drinking beer at the, I probably really need to smoke a joint or something to kind of relax because I get so wound up. People like Kevin or somebody come over and talk to me and I don't even know he's talking to me because my head's buried in the car trying to figure out whatever, but there's some people that run bracket. Some days I wish I just ran bracket. They're having a good old time. They're walking around drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, having a great time. And here I am trying to get a pinion gear back on, and I can't because my head's ready to fall off.
But that's what it was like when we all first kind of started getting into this. That's what it was like. Was we thought we were fast and running 55 to 60 miles an hour, and everybody was having fun, and now it's just gotten a little bit more competitive, you know. But the Wisconsin race was amazing when he had ready to runs. I was just talking to Val and Richie about that last night, about that family. I did not catch the young man's name, but he had his mom, his dad, his little sister, and him. And they were all rooting for, of course, the boy. He probably looked 14, 15, 16 years old. But it was neat seeing the family out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It was.
I heard there was even some ready-to-run cars out there that they couldn't even go on the line because they were so stuck.
Yeah, if you stuck your ready to run on the last semifinals and finals in the ready to run, all the classes, 3 classes, a car got stuck in every time. In every class, a car got stuck.
I want to say I think the last video that Mark did, I think he was saying something like there was a 1/4 inch thick
of prep, yes,
of prep on the line, which, you know, that's a lot. I mean, if you take a ruler and look at a 1/4 inch, that's a lot. You know, I mean, I don't know how far down it went, but I mean, just imagine how many bottles that was on the ground. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if they had to clean it up the next day, but I can only assume that it's, you know, it's a lot of stuff, you know?
Yep. It was, we talked to a couple of guys and they said it was pretty thick. It was pretty thick. I mean, you could feel it. It was like a prep track. It was like, it feels didn't they run something? Did they run real cars there, or did they run something there? Yeah. On the other side of the parking lot, it is the dragway. It is a real drag strip. So they were just in the parking lot of the drag strip.
Right.
Same thing at like Kyle Christie does every year at Irwindale Speedway. And Jerry Garrison put it on, where they're actually drag racing at the very same moment that we are drag racing our RC cars.
Yeah, that's wild. I can only imagine that sound is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's just a good time. You in between rounds, guys would walk over and watch real drag racing, come back, clean their tires, and do another round or whatnot. But the atmosphere was really neat, and you get a lot of these big car guys that are only going to win $2,300 that day came over to our race, and we were handing out $8,000, $10,000, and they're like, "You got to be shitting me," you know? Wait a second, we're in the wrong business, you know?
Well, I know.
Anything else you'd like to cover?
Yeah, well, I got a few more bullet points I want to talk about.
Please do, please.
So now, you know, like for example, you know, the sauce, getting back to the sauce stuff, you know, in the beginning, we were doing 1 coat. Now we've kind of graduated, you know, like last year, kind of like the 2 coats. You know, I heard somebody said, and then kind of like 2 coats became like the kind of normal. But now, I mean, they're anywhere from, you know, 2 coats to 5 coats. So, I mean, when you run 95, 96 miles an hour, I think, you know, I heard some guys saying that you got to be 5 coats baked on to go that fast. Now, granted, now everyone's got their own routine. Some people might just do 2, and that's fine. Some people might do whatever, they got the routine. You know, everybody preps their tire differently. I put on, you know, every time I get a new run of labels, I try to put more and more information on the bottle. So whoever's buying it or whatever, if they don't talk to me or whatever, they know exactly what it is, what it does, what to do, what not to do. So I try to say everything that I can. So again, for the people using 5 coats of sauce, that's some heavy duty speed. You know what I mean? I mean, you're definitely 5 coats and you're ready to rock and roll, you know, and you almost have to. I mean, 90 miles an hour in 1.5 seconds, there's not going to be a whole lot. There's a lot of wheel turning. There's a lot of wheel crumpling. And, you know, you get like a Voodoo, which everybody loves, and sweeps and all that stuff, which is soft tire to begin with. You know, it's basically spinning so fast, crumpling over on each other. I'm sure, you know, there's not a lot of sauce left on it. I can see why you got to do so many coats, you know. And I like listening to these guys talk because they say things that sometimes I would have never even thought to do. You know what I mean? And sauce is going to get, you know, crazier, and, you know, the way you put it on, you know, who knows? Some people might have their routine. They have to do 6 jumping jacks and then put the first coat on, but everybody's got, you know, whatever they like to do. You know what I mean? And some works for some doesn't for the other. And, you know, I don't know, but everybody's got their thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, but 5 coats seems to be the normal. Some people like to get stuck, and for a lot of people at that race, it did great. Some people, were using MRP, which is great stuff, and some people are doing the got launch and the whatever they were using, Kelly stuff, and reaction time, the vomit, and which I think is a cool name anyway, Velcro vomit. I mean, I wish I would have thought of that name. That sounds pretty cool. You know what I mean? I mean, that's cool. But
5
yeah.
coats. I've never. I mean, I'd have to get a hold of Mark and everything, because we race with Mark out here a lot out here in Phoenix, and I've never heard of those 5 coats. I don't know if it's different out there with you guys, but we do 2 coats. We put on one after we clean. We let it flash. Put on the 1 coat. Let it flash, and then we put on our 2nd coat. And then when we get ready to go to the line, we heat it up. That's how we do it.
Well, let me ask you a question. What is your typical ground temperature in Arizona?
I mean,
It's got to be 150 degrees, easy.
Easy. I mean, we hit up. We race on about 140 and up. I mean, it's 100, 120 degrees out here.
Yeah. Oh, so, I'm sure, because where we're at, it's probably maybe 110 at the hottest point of the day, maybe a little bit more. But what I'm getting at is you might need less, because I can't imagine any of you guys there even use tire warmers other than in the beginning, because I mean, it's the ground's so hot already, 150 degrees. I mean, you're cooking bacon on the ground.
Yeah. Wintertime, our tire warmers are our life. We have to. It is. I mean, you have to have them. Summertime, we don't put them on. We don't even touch them. They sit on our table, but we don't even use them in the summertime.
You don't use them in the beginning to put the first coat on so they flash faster? Really?
No. It's so hot out here in the summertime. Honestly, once we're done cleaning, Caden will put his first coat on, and then you scoot the car over for a second. He'll take a drink of something and then talk to somebody for a second, and look, and the car's done. It's flashed. I mean, it's that fast.
But you guys are bringing your heat guns up to the line, to the tech table and stuff, right?
Right. So the second time, we'll put our 2nd coat on. We let it sit. And we try to time it where we're 10 to 20 minutes before our next run. And then we pick up our heat gun in the car, and we're heating them up as we walk up to the line.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? They're not putting the warmers on in the summertime. Wintertime, you can't live without the warmers. You cannot.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. This is one of my points right here. I want to know what your thoughts are on this. Are we starting to see people of a more popular status getting catered to more? What are your thoughts on that? Is that a true statement, or is that just a bunch of it's happening, but we don't want to talk about it?
No. So you're asking do
you see bigger name people getting, you can do this where normally we wouldn't let certain people do this? Do you see that happen?
No.
You don't see that happen?
Not in my opinion, no.
Okay.
You got Mark Vines, a huge name. You know what I mean? Mark goes live on anything, and he's got 150 people on his live instantly. You know what I mean?
If Mark drinks Mountain Dew, people are buying cases of Mountain Dew. I mean, that's real shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can say whether you like him or not. He's a big name, big person. Whether you like him, hate him, whatever you agree with him, don't agree with him. If he drinks, Mountain Dew, people are drinking it. If he chews great bubble gum, people are buying it. You know what I mean? For whatever reason. So, and what he says is a big.
No, it is. He was one of the first to come out. If you remember, what was it, about a year and a half ago? Do you remember one of his first lives where he came out and said, once we started getting that extremely fast and nobody could figure it out, he came on and said, "Okay, guys, I'm going to help you out." Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I want to know the question that you asked me. I would like your answer. What do you think? Are people getting catered?
I think it is, not all the time, but it's just hearsay. I've heard certain people were allowed to go to the front of the line where other people had to wait in line, things like that. And again, is it happening? I don't know. Does it affect me? No, I don't care. But, hey, sometimes, if you show up to a race and that's going to make 50, 100 other people show up to a race. Yeah. I mean, do you get certain things bent to your,
do I think people are getting catered in the sense of, do they get motors? Are they getting ESCs? Now that's away from the track. Yes, that's 100%. Are bigger names getting stuff handed to them? Yes, they are. Mark Vine gets packages probably a couple times a week. You know what I mean? Try this, Mark. Jay Joseph, Henry Tavios. You know what I mean? These guys are Joey Davis.
Do you have an issue? Like for me, I almost expect it. And, knowing a few people that, work for certain companies, like if someone's going to run a battery that's not sold, it doesn't bother me because it's just like, how much are they going to test it? I get it. Some people, they get pissed off. They're like, oh, they're running a prototype, or so-and-so runs this, or so-and-so runs a tire that nobody has or whatever. That's just the name of the game. Like, I get it.
John Schultz had that new Associated that they have now, the newer kit one.
Yeah.
He had for 6 months, and he was running that before they finally came out and said, now we have a drag racing, carbon fiber already or whatever it is,
That doesn't bother me. I mean, does it bother you?
No. That's the name of the game. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Because they're all gonna see what he has. Now we're all gonna run out and buy it,
Right.
We're all fast for 2 weeks, and then somebody else will come out with something. You know what I mean? We're always gonna be chasing it. I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't. I don't know if you guys do.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of the game. Is these
I
guys?
I think if you ask 10 people, you get 10 different answers. But for me personally, it's
does it bother you?
No, I'm fine with it. It's whatever. Hey, if somebody said, "Hey, Steve, here's the R1 28,000 whatever, go ahead and run it." Hell yeah, give it to me. Give me 2. I want to give it to my teammates so we can try. Hey, I mean, if it's great, damn right. I want to be the first guy to run a 120. I want somebody big name to come over to me and go, man, can I sit next to you? Hell yeah. I want all that. I want it. I want to be famous like them. I want to be famous like, the AJs and the Kevin Jeans and the Billy Centenios. I want all that. I want the autograph. I want people. Here's just a true story. We went up to Luke's Hobbies somewhere in Virginia, wherever they race. Luke's a super cool dude. And some guy came up to me and goes, "Hey, are you that rear no bar dude?" And I was like, "Yeah." He asked to take his picture with me. I mean, this is the end of the day. He wanted his picture taken with me. He was like, "You're that no bar rear fat." I was like, "Yeah." He got his picture taken with me. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And that was just a small glimpse of a snapshot of what these, Mark Vine dudes, I don't have that lifestyle, but it was great. I mean, it was awesome. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I went home and I probably pissed my pants. I didn't even know it. I was so happy. I was like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? This guy probably doesn't even know who I am, but, he knew I was that dude for 5 minutes out of his life. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty cool, so.
Wade wants to know if he can sit next to you.
Yeah, anytime. Wade is pretty cool. Wade makes he's real good and makes these battery covers, and he does all kinds of cool stuff like that. And he's got some coming for me, and he always puts cool logos or lettering and stuff on that for me. So check him out. Madfish Designs. He's got some cool stuff, and because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I crashed a couple times. My batteries came out and they got skinned up, and I was like, I got to get this around my battery because, $200, $400 for a battery, it's, it hurts your feelings when you see it skinned up. Even if it broke both my, both the Velcro straps. I mean, of course, when you hit a ramp and last year, a couple times I could have won the contest for catching air, I mean, it's hard when you want to let off and you need to let off and you're turning and turning and turning, but that car's steadily going towards that ramp. And now they got metal ramps. Josh has metal ramps now. Last year, I think we had wooden ramps, but I mean, they catch some good air. I mean, when you hear someone do it or watch someone do it from sitting in your trailer, you cringe. Your shoulders go up and you're like, ugh, because there was $400 that just basically disappeared. And you see pieces that look like Legos and somebody just threw them. That's what it looks like after they hit, and you're like, oh my god, it was rough. So.
They call you? Do they call you No Lift Larson?
What is it? No lift. Yeah, I need to learn how to do it, but I'm getting better with it. I don't. One race, my finger was hitting the dip switch around the steering wheel, and it kept making my car go one way, and I didn't have enough steering in my car because I only have like 30 degrees in my steering, so no matter what I did, it wasn't enough steering to counteract it from going one way because I finally had to disable the dip switches. And once I figured out what was happening, it was like, holy crap. But, that didn't happen after that weekend. But another thing
I want to get on to something with y'all. Y'all were talking about the racers and everything, the professionals pretty much, Mark Vine and all them, about do you think that they how'd you say it? How'd you put it? That
do certain racers get catered to?
And honestly, I've been to a lot of races and we video. That's what we do. We go around and see everybody, and most of them, they don't get catered for the race. They get catered by the sponsors, or they get catered by people coming up and meeting them. But as far as who was it? Dustin himself, in Kentucky, he was late for the race, a few minutes late, and he wasn't there in time when it was time for the meeting. He lost. They didn't let him race. But and the same thing with like the new products and stuff like that. We've seen a lot of people that's lost race. Everybody looks at the bad side of it, like they're getting ahead of everybody, but they're also testing to make sure that the product's going to work. And we've seen a lot of them where it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? It blew up on the line. So it's a kind of a switchy. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them things. But it's these events that you go to. I've always told people, you go to these events to beat your regular speed. You know what I'm saying? To get your best time you can get of your personal best. And by the time you leave there, you're going to gain so much knowledge because not only are you going to see Mark Vine walk by, but he's probably going to have your car in his hand at least once or twice during that race. Yeah. And that's the guy, Jay Joseph and all that's the kind of guys they are. And that's one of the big things everybody's got to look at these races. I've seen a lot of them give out their stuff.
Frank Ulrich?
I've seen Frank Ulrich take a motor out of his car because somebody else blew a motor and didn't have one to let him keep running. You know what I mean? That's the kind of things you see at these races, and that's what you want to see to make this sport grow is the people like that's on top. You know what I mean?
The one thing that just for the average racer like me, this is like what I have going through my mind. Sure, I mean, if I was fast enough to go, to be competitive against one of those guys, I would think to myself, okay, I can bring my car, I can bring my radio, but then my initial thought is, how do I get a generator? How do I get a table? How do I get a chair? How do I get a tent? How do I get all my tools? How do I get everything that I would normally have in my trailer at that race? Now, I'm sure everybody does it because they figure it out, but just for me, I don't know how they all do it. Like, I don't know someone in Wisconsin, King of the Smokies, the Tennessee races and this. Like, I would love to know how they do it. I think that would be cool. Like, if somebody said, hey, I can set you up,
Yeah. Well, the truth is when you get there, everybody's there for you, period. I have never been somewhere where somebody would say I couldn't stand in their tent area or help them. And if you get on the thing and say, I'm thinking about going to, say if you're talking about going to Vegas and you're going to fly out to Vegas, get on the spread and say, hey, man, I'm going to Vegas. You'd be surprised at people that have extra stuff that will bring it every time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And plug in. Yeah. So,
Brian Elkins, when we first met him, it was King of the Streets 2 years ago. He rolled up. We were on the back wall, the farthest away from everybody, and he had no generator. And we never knew this gentleman from day one. Brian, plug your cord in right here, sir. Nice to meet you. My name's Bill. This is Caden, and we have been very good friends ever since. You know, so something that I wanted to say on that, I do like that question, Steve. People being favoritism, or how you asked it. Do some of these people that, I'm not saying people are bitching or not bitching, but we know some of them do. These people are out there bitching, but are they actually out there 5 days a week testing these products on their dime, on their being away from their families, being away from their wives and their dogs, and while they're out testing these motors? So do some of these guys deserve to get these motors and these ESCs? Yes, they do. Because do they deserve to get them first? Well, it got to start somewhere. But the Mark Vines and the Tim Smiths and all these Frank Greers, these are a lot of Arizona names because we're here, but you guys know the Frank Ulbrichts, the Brian Elkins back there in Florida. They test every single day back in the day. You know what I mean? They tested 5 days a week. So,
hey, I'm jealous. I wish it was me. I'm not mad at him. I think it's great.
Right.
I wish, I saw the video the other day that Jay did, and I was like, God damn, I wish I had that the Volta 4-pole and the Trinity 4-pole and the Tekin, and I mean, I think it's great. Like, I think it's awesome. I'm not hating though. I mean, you'll never see me get on a Facebook post and go bash anybody, because I think it's, hey, if you're in that position and they're giving you free stuff, suck it up. I mean, give me as much free stuff as you can get. I think it's great. You know what I mean? I mean, if I can give back by helping, some little kid, here's the thing of prep, and that, if that says my battery's low, if I can help somebody out like that and make them feel like I feel,
yes, I agree.
Do it all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sean South. Yes, it's me. Thank you, Wade. Brian, that day he showed up with his suitcase, his car in his suitcase, and he went to the top 32 at King of the Streets. You know what I mean? With meeting new people. You know what I mean? So. Oh yeah. I that's one thing that I do love about it. I don't race, I'm there for my son, but I love the family. The family that we gain, Cool. I've never met anybody in any race big races we've went to not help us, no matter what. In the middle of a stress, I could ask them a question and they would answer it, so.
Well, these, like I said, these big races is experience. You don't go to win. It's kind of like winning the lottery. If you got 300 cars going to go run and you got all the top people there, Frank Greer and all them, they're, his battery died. He'll be back in a minute. But, if the battery does, I'm going to say that again. But if he's running, you're going to meet all these people and teach you all this stuff. We lost him for a minute, Bill, but we could talk for a minute, but that's the way I look at it.
Richie.
Yeah.
What'd you have for breakfast?
A monster. That's all I had.
Wait, is that dancing Val in the background?
Oh yeah, she's right here behind me. She's giggling at y'all all the way through it. Say hey, Val.
Hello.
Oh, Aunt Val, we need to get bobbleheads, because we need to get bobbleheads made of all of us, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we need to make bobbleheads of random people too. You know what I mean? Like we have like a wheel thing of all the racers around, you know what I mean? And just spin it, and whoever it lands on, this is the month we're gonna make this bobblehead. All the money goes to charity. That's not a bad idea.
It's actually not a bad idea. And then you start collecting them. You know what? I think and Richie, I think you nailed it. I think it's gonna go to the Phillips Car Fund charity. No, actually, that's a good idea. We could do it to a hospital, a children's hospital, and we could make the bobbleheads, and everybody would buy one.
Hey, what you do is, if you do it like we're talking about, do it for charity. If it's like, say, whichever, J. Joseph or whoever it is, we make a bobblehead out of whatever they want to donate the money to, what charity or whatever they pick, and all the money goes to that. You know what I'm saying?
I think we just out of nowhere, I think we just we nailed something. Val,
Okay.
Yes.
You know what you got to do tomorrow now, right?
Nope.
You got a lot.
You got to find out who's making bobbleheads.
Okay, I'll put that on my to-do list.
I think I got a website, man. I think I actually looked that up one time because I was gonna make one for Caden. I was messing around, so I think I got a place that I can find one.
You guys, that's actually, Rich, that is an amazing idea. So, but what we need to, so put some, I know people are listening to us right now. Put some ideas on here, guys. I think we should just announce on Facebook what we're going to do. And we literally list every single person who, would they have to give say it's okay to make a picture of us on a bobblehead, right? So you have to sign up for it, and sign up for it. You would sign up and you would put your charity next to your name, and then we would sell the bobbleheads online.
Yeah. And like I said, and we could do that monthly or whatever we want to do, and just make a collection of them, like all the top hitters or whoever we want to do, and just, that's not a bad idea. It'd be expensive to do at the beginning, but hell, everything we come up with ideas, it seems like it's expensive, don't it?
Do you see Sean South?
He's getting his computer booted up.
So Sean South, okay. Sean South said, could you imagine a bobblehead of Frank Ulbrich with a grass skirt on it? I think my first one, I'm not going to lie, I think the dude's a very nice guy. He has always been good to my son, and that's what matters to me. Always has a smile on his face. I would want my first bobblehead. I would want it to be Biggie.
Biggie Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a good one there now. But there'd be so many though, man. I don't know, man. And then like you got, and we could have a Canadian one, man. That'd be Chad.
Sean South would be his on his little street sweeper. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think honestly, I've met so many amazing people. You guys are family now. South family, we're all family. Hobbs, everybody, we're all family. We ain't going.
We could even do like Frank Greer, hit him up, and or whoever does prep, and make one out of them, and they're holding their own their prep bottles or whatever. You know what I mean?
Hey, I got launched. Just said I got a perfect pick of Ken.
There it is, right there.
I think we just nailed something, guys. I think, I know Richie, you're good with this stuff. Put that together, but we got to make some kind of list where you don't mind getting it made of yourself. You know what I mean? But
that's the thing. That's the community. That's where everybody puts their 2 cents in and tells us yay or nay. But that would be fun and funny to have. I would actually buy one of each.
I would collect. I would buy them every month. Yeah. You know what you should do? Okay, let's add to this. We'd have to do some kind of website. Maybe we can get one of these companies that sell parts, so you can do a monthly subscription. Every month you get the new bobblehead, and we pick who it is.
Hey, look, he's back. We done figured out how to do bobbleheads. We're gonna make bobbleheads for charity. See what happens when you leave. Is he there?
Richie, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you.
We're gonna do a monthly subscription, so each month it comes on. It's people sign their credit card. It's whatever the price is, $29, $39.99, and they get a new bobblehead. We
can make that an option, but some people's got good weeks and some people's got bad weeks, and if they want to buy them, they can buy them. If they can't afford it, then I don't. You know what I'm saying? It's for a good cause. So.
That's a good idea, though. We're doing this. So, Steve, can you hear us? Oh, he's frozen.
He must have spilled some stuff.
That's his bobblehead he wants us to put up.
And go ahead and moat. Yeah, he's working. His battery died on his laptop, I think, and he'll be back in a minute. Hey, it's just you again.
I'd have to say that Steve has been very informational tonight.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man, and he's knowledgeable, man. He and Where did he say he was from? You know, I'm terrible at that.
Maine.
So,
yeah,
that's cool, man. So
no, and the best part is him and his son did this from the beginning.
Yeah, we need to meet his son, don't we? That's what you need to do. Is next time he comes back on, you need to say, "Hey, we need to see your son before it's too late."
Yeah, he's from Maryland. Kevin said he is from Maryland.
Have we been to Maryland?
Yeah.
We've been to Maryland?
I believe so.
What we go to Maryland for?
I don't remember.
So we need Sean South said we need a Paul Peterson sleeping bobblehead. I think that is the neatest idea I think we've came up with.
You know what's crazy though is watch it wind up being just us.
So, yeah, but we'll have fun with it. Yeah, but you know darn well, Mark Vine with his hair, you know what I mean? The way Mark would have to put a bobblehead with long hair on it, you know what I mean?
We can't hear you right now.
Steve, are you there? He froze again.
Yeah.
Let's find out here. I'm gonna write that down. Sean South, does he do foam tire?
We need to you know, we ought to have a blast from a past night one night. I wonder if I could talk Daniel Judd to coming on with us or something like that. Wouldn't that be cool? And just talk about the old days.
Daniel Judd from the beginning. That man is just, you know, he's doing what he does now, his own thing, you know, but that would be cool. That would be cool. Just have him. I know he's got one of his cars stashed away somewhere. You know what I mean? And bring out one of his old race cars. You know what I mean? And let's compare. Let's get Mark Vine and Daniel Judd on there and show the two different cars of 2 years apart. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Steve,
that would be really cool. That would be cool. Yeah, I'm back. I'm good.
Okay, so just so you can be caught up on what we have decided since you were gone, we are going to do bobbleheads, and we're going to do once a month. We're going to start making bobbleheads of all us famous racers in the RC world, and we're going to sell it. And the bobblehead of that person is going to go, and they get to pick the charity they want, and all the proceeds go to the charity.
That's cool. I think it's really cool.
Wouldn't that be neat to get a Mark Vine bobblehead and a Steve Larson bobblehead and a Webb RC bobblehead?
And like I said,
You know what I mean? We're trying to talk of these things for fun. Before I forget, I have a question, and then I want you to get back on track. Sean South asked, do you do foam tires?
No, I do not. Right now, we're just doing rubber tires. We're just doing rubber tires. Kind of, I was listening to what Tony was talking about too, and foam tire, they got their own deal. You know, Cofer, they're good, and you know, I don't race with the foam tires. You know, if we did change that at some point, you know, maybe we might think about it. But for right now, you know, I don't see us going down that road. You know. I mean, there's so many people doing prep right now. I didn't even realize it, but you know, you got your A leagues, your B leagues. You know, I mean, after seeing that box that Frank had, 6 boxes worth of different people's prep. I mean, like I said before, it was crazy. I was joking around. I was like, Sears has a prep. I mean, CBS has a prep. I mean, you know, there's tons of people. You know, and hey, there's probably amazing prep out there that you and me have never even heard of. But it's just, you know, they're not getting the notoriety because they're in their state or wherever that is, you know.
They're doing their thing. Brian would like to know, how do we buy Steve's prep?
If you want to get anything from Red Monster, just go ahead and message me on Messenger. And I do not have a website because I like intimate. I like one-on-one. Hit me up. You know, if I can take care of you, and you know, you want to buy, you know, more than one, you know, I'll try to give you a discount or take care of you, or you know. Everybody wants to charge X amount for shipping, and you know I'll lose money on shipping to make sure you get what you want, you know, and you know on race day or whatever, you know. Like I don't mind doing stuff like that, you know. I mean, if I can help the next guy out, you know, because a lot of people help me out, you know what I mean. It was a lot of guys that you know were real nice to me, and you know just helped out a lot, you know what I mean, and you know, it was like, for example, Brian Elkins, super nice to be able to do a video for me like that. And, there's a lot of other people that just, a lot of prep guys, that took the time to give me information, and just tell me things that I didn't know. They didn't need to tell me that, they didn't have to. And, even though that I'm not, I guess I'm somebody's competition for prep, but at the end of the day, hey, Tony Poet said it best a few months ago. You need to have everybody's prep in your box. You need to have reaction time. You need to have get stuck. You need to have got launch. You need to have whatever's works. You know what I mean? I was looking at them. There's a ton of them, so you need to have them all because, every surface is different. Some days, the first time I only used get stuck, whatever it's called, one time. But I tell you what, the one day that I used it, it was the fastest I ever ran. This was a while back. But the next day I used it, it was terrible. So that day that I did use it, it was incredible. But the next day it was different. It was a different surface. It was a different sun. It was, other stuff worked. So that's why I'm saying, Kelly said it too. Got to have everybody's prep in your box because some days X prep's going to work. Someday B prep's going to work. And, you never know what it's going to be, just like you're going to bring 3 speed controls to the race or more because you never know if this one's going to blow up, if that one's going to blow up, if it's going to work, so, who knows? It might be a bug guts day. It might be a get stuck day, or it might be a red monster day. It might be a black label day. Who knows? Windex might work one day. Who knows? You know what I mean?
John Southis said the best prep is whatever works. Usually the local guy that makes prep in the area you are racing in is the best.
Yeah, I heard Mark Vine he was on one of his things and he was saying that, he's never had traction issues. They went somewhere. I forget where he said he went, like South Carolina maybe or somewhere. And he said they were using some Roadrunner sauce, which I've heard of, and they said that stuff was great where they were. They said the only thing that would work was that stuff. So it just goes to show you sometimes the bigger name preps won't do it. It won't, won't work. And some days, hey, it's the whatever, that is going to be the ticket. You know what I mean? Hey, it all depends how the sun hits the ground. The rubber hits the road. I can imagine it's different for you guys in Arizona. Like I wouldn't even know what prep to use with a 180-degree road. I don't know. I would have to change everything that I know because we don't get that hot here. So when I make stuff, I try to make it so it will work on as many surfaces as I can. There's no magical sauce. I wish there was. I wish I could say that, the new stuff, Black Label, as sexy as it looks, is the only sauce in the world that will work everywhere. But that's not true. You know what I mean? It's great here. We like it. It does real good things. But some days, if it's humid outside or if it's whatever, and, it's about to rain, who knows? Maybe something else might be better. So, I believe you need to have it all, get it all. Some days, you never know what's going to work good. So that's kind of how I see it.
No, and you're right. What's the next thing that you have on your agenda there?
Well, we just released the Power Scrape and the Black Label, so those are pretty new. So right now we're just going to work on, getting those out to everybody and everyone realizing how good they are and, what it can do because it's really, really good stuff. The original, the OG, stuff. I'm learning more and more about rubber and prep and how it adheres to the other and what temperatures are like. So every day I'm getting smarter with this stuff and I'm applying it to the prep. So if you use anything Red Monster, you're going to be happy. I will respond to anyone that reaches out to me on Messenger unless I'm sleeping. You know what I mean? Like I said, but if you reach out to me, I'm excited when I wake up in the morning to look at my phone to see who's asked the question. I will answer any question that I can. I love it when someone asks me, what about the black? What about the red? What's this? What's that? Hell yeah, man. I will talk to you all damn day long about it because it's what I enjoy. I almost like this better than racing, which is crazy. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, I just assume go to the racetrack, help my son and just sell the prep. You know what I mean? Like I don't even need to race, but I love racing. You know what I mean? I would miss it. So I'm not going to not do that. But, I think it's great. I love it. So, but if something I made in the garage, there's no chemist, There's no nothing. There's me, there's my son Chase, and some measuring cups and a handful of buddies that here, try this. And if it's great, good. If it sucks, then we're trying to make it better the next week. And that's all that we're doing.
Real quick, don't lose your train of thought, but we had a request because you have mentioned him so much, and we do love that. Is Chase is your son, correct?
Yes.
We all would like to meet him. Is he there?
Yeah, Chase, come here.
No.
This is the gentleman who started the project with school, correct?
Yeah. Come over here. Come on. What are you doing? Just come in front of the camera. Come next to me.
What?
This is Chase right here.
Chase, nice to meet you, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well. What grade are you in, sir?
I'm going into 6th.
6th grade. Well, I just want to talk to you for a second. You have inspired your dad to make such an amazing product. And I personally want to tell you thank you for being an inspiration to us grown men. So thank you very much, sir. And
hey, can you see that? Can you see the hat that he's wearing?
Let me see the hat.
Put your hat down. You see that?
Oh, I love it. Scooter reaction time.
Yep.
Hey, that's true people of the hobby right there.
Yeah, Tony sent him a couple hats for his birthday. So again, there's no hating on our end. I'm friends with all these guys, and they help. I ask questions, and they're super cool and they're nice, and most of them are nice. Most of them don't have too many bad things to say, and I try not to. I'm never going to go online and bash anybody. If I have something to say, it's in the garage screaming about somebody or this or that. But I talk to a lot of these guys, and I get their thoughts and this, and sometimes I'll ask Mark a question and he'll say blah blah blah, and if he says he's going to try this, I'll say, well, hey, how's this coming along? And if he responds, he gets time to respond, and if not, then I'll try him again in 2 more weeks or whoever, and a lot of these bigger name guys are pretty cool. Most of the guys, if you reach out to them, they will respond, and that's all you can ask them to do. So,
All right.
Hey, I got a question real quick though. Tell you how Valley works is y'all were talking about the 707 show, how we talking about how we all got started watching Daniel Judd, how we sit there and watch all that stuff. Well, she's in the background texting Daniel Judd. So would y'all like to come on with Daniel Judd when we get a chance to get him on here?
Hell yeah. The matter of fact, the mat that I have on my dining room table was the guy that he told me to get. It says 301 for life. That's our area code. And he was, he would get on there and say, you can get these pit mats from so-and-so, although that person doesn't make them anymore. But, we still have all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I've reached out to him before, and, he's been pretty cool to talk to. And sometimes he said, hey, it's 2 a.m. here. You know what I mean? And, you forget that, you think, whatever time it is where you are, it's that time where he is too. But, sometimes you get
excited. We're going to probably do it Monday at 9
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. So, if anybody, y'all tune in and we can talk about the old show and all, but I just thought that was cool how Valerie jumped on that. As soon as you said that, she was like, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I mean, I don't know what's all going on between the 3 guys now, but I'd love to see them all get back together and do it all over again. The real world can do it. They got season 1, 2, and 3. I'd love to see, Ricky and, Daniel and, Randy season 2. Come on. We're talking about 100-mile-an-hour cars now, or whatever they want to talk about. You know what I mean? I always thought that was great.
I'd honestly love to see. Yes, he's in the area, and we could also reach out to him, Val. I know you can hear me, but get Mark Vine and his newest car. We'll just use Mark as a person, and Daniel Judd, and let's see if he has one of his old original drag cars. And I'd like to compare I think that would be neat. I think that would be really neat to see the innovation.
I'd like to see the car with all the holes in it. You know what I mean? A Mark Vine, you know, he's got that body with all the holes in it.
Yeah. Yep. When they made the rule, you could only have 4 holes. Remember that?
Yep.
Hey, you know what I would like to see? You know how right now on Street Outlaws, they got the show Endgame, you know, everybody's building the cars. So they devote one episode to that one person. Like the very first episode was Ryan, and they're talking about him building that car. I think it would be cool to have, I don't know, like a Webb RC or somebody follow Mark, a day in the life of Mark Vine. Okay, this is Mark's routine from the second he gets, you know, to the track to the end of the day. The next week, you know, you get a Tommy Burgess or, you know, somebody like that, or, you know, whoever, you know, you have like a little raffle. Okay, this week we're going to follow, you know, Kevin Jean. Next week we're going to follow Brad Poole. Next week we're going to follow, you know, Ricky Bellotti, you know, whoever. You know, I think I would love to watch that. Okay, this is the beer Ricky drinks when he wakes up. This is the sub shop that Ricky goes to when he, you know, before he gets to the track. This is, you know, the toothpaste that, you know, Randy Vieira uses before, you know, he you know, does.
Well, you know, and that, you know, like you said that, you know, we, a bunch, you know, even the racers, they laugh about that because it's kind of like you were saying earlier about how somebody comes up and wants to get a picture with you. You never realize people watch you or even know it. And even the big dogs are the same way. You know, I mean, Jay Joseph, man, what he says is just like Mark Vine. It goes, man. And they're both good people. And they're humble. They're just good people. They're just, and it's just neat, man. I think it's cool. But yeah, that would be awesome.
I've reached out to Frank before, and you know, he's like, "Listen," he goes, "I'm just a dude that plays with toy cars." Hey, he's a big name to a lot of, you know, he's a household name to a lot of people. You know, you might not think it, but you know, hey, you know, every racetrack has that fast guy that everybody wants to be. You know, everybody's wife knows their name because the guy's always talking about, like, damn it, I want to beat him or whatever. You know, I mean, you know, I can't tell you, like, you know, when we were watching the show, I wanted to see what Daniel Judd's new house looked like. I kept hearing about it. I'd see him buy new cars. Like I wanted like a show with that, you know what I mean? And then it kind of like faded away towards the end. Like, you know, I don't know all what happened, but you know, I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah, it keeps everything moving. And you know, that's like that's what I've always tried to do is I like that. Is I've always wanted people to tell me what they think they would like to see, and that's kind of what I'm working at now. Is you know, I'm just like everybody else. I got a job. I do what I do. I'm gonna build me a car. I done made my mind up that I've been looking at frames and I'm gonna buy one tonight. Figure it out. But I want everybody to show off their area, man. That's why, you know, we've always said it's, you know, was it your videos, your hobbies, are kind of our slogan. And that's what I want is ideas, man. Anybody's ideas, ever got anything, y'all hit us up and we'll try it if we can.
I saw a YouTube video of Ryan Cavalieri. It was him waking up, him getting his bags packed, him getting in his white pickup truck, you know, because you think these guys, you know, they're like godlike to everybody. You know, he's driving in his pickup truck in California to the airport. He's talking to the camera. He's like, yeah, we're getting ready to go to the Worlds in Finland or whatever it is. And I was like, that's pretty cool because you don't get to see that stuff. And, you know, like if you get these big races, like, you know, whatever big name guy, you know, Brian Elkins, like, hey, this is Brian waking up. This is Brian letting the dog out. This is Sean South, you know, taking the kids to school, you know, before the big flight to Tennessee or wherever they're going, you know, all these big name guys, you know, and, you know, I think that's cool. I think I would love to watch that, you know, because some of us, you know, like we just can't go for work or, you know, whatever, or, you know, people like me that think I'm going to need 8 pit tables and 4 generators. And how do I get to that on an airplane and da. So it's exciting to watch this stuff on TV. You know, you watch, you know, Webb RC and some of the other, you know, you get different ones, you see different angles. And, you know, by the end of the race, after the third day, I feel like I was there because the footage is so good, you know, and like, I want to, you know, they do like personals, you know, with, you know, Foster or somebody. And I want to see all that. Like, I love to get the behind the scenes personals when, you know, stuff's not going right and so screaming at somebody else. I mean, I think it's great. You know, I love seeing all that stuff, you know, goes right. but it's cool to see the behind the scenes where, like, remember the last race, I forget the race it was, but where the guy died, which was very unfortunate, but, I didn't forget what the name of the race was, or I would have called it by that. But, Mark went to race somebody and his tires, I didn't know what happened. The camera didn't really show what happened, but we found out like a day later that his tires or something, whatever. And then Frank went to give him his tires. But man, I would have loved to seen, somebody on the ground with the camera showing what happened. We were like, I don't know what happened, but it looked cool from what we could see. But again, the little glimpses into that from my garage in Southern Maryland, Charles County, I think that stuff's great. So.
Who's that?
Hello?
Who is it?
Hello?
Hello.
You know who that is, right?
No.
That's your son?
Oh, no.
Who is that?
Oh.
How did you get on there?
He went on his phone, and Val got a hold of him through Messenger, I bet.
Oh, I just heard something upstairs drop like a bomb. I thought he was coming through the ceiling.
What was that noise?
I thought it was you.
No.
So.
Well, here, Chase, here's your time to shine. You got the microphone. Tell us about yourself. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, see, yeah.
He was like
All
a
right.
ghost. The first one, he was like, "Who are you? Where'd you come from?"
Oh, he said his phone died, but
So
he does. Chase is real good. He's real good on the tree. He does bracket and he does 350, and I don't know if he's ready for VXL yet, but he's he does the burnout himself. The only thing I do for him is tell him the time. He's still figuring out the how to figure out what your time's going to be on bracket. But other than that, he does everything pretty much himself. Cleans his tires, charges his batteries, get everything ready. So, when it's time to step up to VXL or whatever the class is, the next year or so, then, he'll probably do that, but hopefully this is still all going strong, because I hate hearing about how it's dying and it's this and it's that. And then you hear about the times.
I'm going to tell you one thing that me and Barry have learned traveling. This will never die. I don't care what you hear online or whatever, but each group in every place we've been in America, it's just as strong as it is everywhere. So, the things that are happening is we're having professionals now, and we get to race with professionals, and then we go back to our areas and enjoy it with everybody else and spread and it's going to just keep growing. So, yeah.
Hey, Richie, what makes you a professional? What makes that person a professional, in your opinion?
A professional is a person that helps the community, first of all. He's got to be very good at what he does.
Okay.
And, what do you call that? Or what would you call professional? And fast. He's got to be fast. Of course, it's just like a NASCAR or anything else. But
I would call professional one that has one of those, those pots and are, that do it on a pretty much daily basis and go to all the big races and,
And to be a professional don't mean that you don't race it now. You know what I'm saying? They do it day in, day out. They have the time. Other people like us, we can't do it all the time, and we don't, you know what I mean?
So they say a professional by its definition is somebody who makes money. So we are, in a sense, all professionals doing this because we all have the option to make money. We just don't win that race. So we're all professionals.
So that means that it's not kind of like the lottery. So we go, every one of us that buy lottery tickets, we're all professionally gambling.
That's right.
Even though we don't win nothing. So.
That's right. Just like NASCAR. They're all professional drivers, but they all can't come in first place.
Yep.
So we are all somewhat of a professional in our own, in our own little world. We are all professional RC car drag racers. You know what I mean? If you make money at what you do, you are a professional. If you do not make money at it, there's no money involved. You're an amateur.
I like what Scotty did at that last race. I'm talking about the last race. I think he paid the top 16. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
That's really cool because when you drive that far, pay the airlines and the hotels and the this and the that and the generator fees and the save my spot fee and the this and the that, and you got to buy your wife flowers and a jacuzzi day because she's pissed off because you spent the whole weekend. She had to watch the kids and let the dog out at 2 a.m. and all that. I mean, it's cool, for 16 people, to win. And, the Queen of the Street thing, I didn't even know that was happening. And I saw that and I thought that was kind of cool. So, but 16 people get money. That's pretty cool because, normally some races you go to, you see, first, second, third place get it. And that's cool, third, maybe fourth, depending on, who your race master person is. And, I think it's pretty cool because, hey, I've been to a race before and I've won $20 and I was happy, it was fun. It was like, I didn't care that I spent $30 in buybacks or whatever, like, hey, I won $20. It's kind of like people that played a lottery for 20 years and then they win $100. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not thinking about that. You're like, hey, I just won $20. So
you said it really good. When he started announcing, I thought he was just going to hand money to Lindsay and second place. And he said, I'm going all the way back to the final 16, there was people that packed up and left and didn't get their, well, he sent it to them later, but the 16 play just to get $100 bill back. Like you said, $20.
Hey, I'd be happy with a Coke and a smile. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Just hearing your name announced that you did something good or you beat somebody that you've watched race for 3 years from your living room or whatever.
Yeah. Look, so Mark Vine is somebody who we all know. We've used his name tonight a lot. He didn't get in the top 16. There was somebody else that got in the top 16, made 100 or whatever it was. They can actually say, I made top 16. Mark Vine didn't even hit the top 16,
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's really big, and you should be proud and go home and, tell the guys at work and, all that stuff because it's big, But I also read stuff I heard people say, hey, I ran a 159 at that track, and then I came to my local track, and I couldn't go 5 feet with that tune. Well, yeah, it's different place, different tunes, different traction, different preps. Me and somebody, I think it was, I forget who I was talking about, but we were talking about this today. It almost seems like nowadays you have to have a morning prep, a mid prep, and an evening prep. You know what I mean? Because depending on the temperature, you might need a lighter glaze of a prep, a more strong prep, middle of the day. But when it gets too hot, 1 billion degrees outside, you don't want all that traction. You don't want to be gummy. You don't want to do a 27-second burnout. So, there's definitely, at one point I was even thinking about doing an inside tire prep. I was going to do that because I was like, no one has that. I was like, and people use it, you know what I mean? But how many times are you going to use it? Can you market it? Is it, so I started thinking about all that. I was like, who has an inside tire prep? No one. But, for one bottle will last you 10 years, but I mean, hey, it would work. You know what I mean? But, unless you get like a bigger name dude to do it's hard. I had to send a lot of free stuff out to a lot of people before it stuck. It's expensive. You know what I mean? There was a lot of Red Monster bottles flying everywhere before people knew what it was or tried it or, thought it was anything of any legitimacy. You know what I mean? And it's tough to get out there when there's so many other, sticky ickies and, got launches and this and that, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard, especially when, people don't want to like something new. They have their favorites and that's what they like. Even if it doesn't work, People don't like change. I'm the same way. I don't like change. Like if I know reaction time works, I'm going to use it. If I know Red Monster works for me when I jump up and down and shake my ass and, put 3 coats on, I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work, then some people just, they don't want to change. I had a friend of mine that I was testing with. I said, this sauce, you need to heat the tires, let it flash, bake it in, then do it again. And he was like, I'm not doing all that. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. That's what all the heavy hitters are doing to go this speed. I'm not doing that. I'm like, all right, well, I can only tell you how this is going to be. Some people, they don't want to do it. They don't want to, do
Sean,
what has to happen,
Sean South, you could probably read it. It says, do you have prep for gravel road or sandbox? Yeah.
we haven't got that far yet.
Was there anything else on your agenda that you wanted to cover?
Let me just skim down the paper and make sure I touched on everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you. I got like a couple pages. I just want to make sure I touched on everything.
Sean South, don't you have a street sweeper? I seen you running it with flip flops the other night.
Oh, I got one more thing I want to talk about.
Let's talk about it.
What are your thoughts on people running these crazy ass numbers because different timing systems aren't calibrated right? And some people have 1 beams and 2 beams and 3 beams and this and that. And, you can pull your car back and run a 115 mile an hour pass or, this or that, because everyone's track, everyone's timing systems, everyone's rollout is not the same. So what are your thoughts on that?
Just
like a lot of the big boys.
Just like everybody with their GNSSs, you know what I mean? When they post up their times, you know what I mean? There's different satellites going to grab different, you know what I mean? And give you different, your GNSS is for you and your area and for you tuning on the GNSSs. And for the tracks with the timing systems and all that, all I can say is don't take your time from the Wisconsin race and don't take what you did there and carry it over to Sean South's Redemption, because it don't do it. It's take your time for that race, and that's how fast you were running that race, and that's how good you were that race, because you're not, Lindsay is not number 1 anymore. She's number 1 at that race that day.
Right, exactly.
She is not number 1 the next day. It's I'm not being rude. I'm not taking that from her. She's still fast, but she might come over to Redemption and she ain't fast. Once you get down off your podium, receive your money, you're not fast anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, you're not number 1 no more. You're right. Number 1 moment. You got that time. Now that's done. Tomorrow, that's yesterday. Now let's go to Redemption. Let's see what we're gonna do at Redemption. And those times might be running the fastest time there might be a 1:68. Is the track the same size? Laser cut track, laser measured. It is the exact same timing system, but the road is different. You know what I mean? So people are going to try to blame the timing system or this or that, when just race that race. Race your race that day, that weekend. Get your best times you can. Go home, use your GNSSs, do your tuning. Now go to your next race. 1:09 might be the fastest race in Redemption coming up this year. You know what I mean? Yeah. We don't know. That's my thought.
I and a lot of people might disagree with this, but I feel like there is a need for times. Some people think that times discourage people, but you know what? For me, I like hearing it. I like knowing that, I just ran this and then I moved 3 numbers and then, now it went better or it went worse. You know what I mean? So for me, I like the times. Some people think that, times are more stressful or times are making people not want to do this, but how do you know you're getting better? Like I don't want to beat so-and-so just to beat them. I want to know that I ran a 160 or 150. To me, it's motivating,
Yeah.
Okay. That's my thought. I mean, what do you think?
I agree with you on that end. I agree with watching the races and everything. I like to hear the times. It just makes it more exciting. But at the end of the moment,
when you're watching it from home and you see two cars, like at the last race, I don't know if we really saw too much, but at the Scotty race, I mean, I don't know if they were giving out times, but for me, working in my garage, I want to hear that Brian Elkins is racing Sean South. I want to know that Sean ran a 159. I want to know what he ran, like, so I can go, oh yeah, I want to see Mark Vine run a whatever, and he races, Jay and Jay ran a whatever. And I mean, that's, to me, it's exciting. If they say Jay won, I'm like, it's not really there for me. It's not as exciting. Like I'm not working on something in my garage going, oh man, this is fantastic. Cause I don't know what he ran. He could have ran a 3 something. Who knows? You know what I mean?
And the times are neat to watch, but at the end of the day, when the race is over with, it's who got to the finish line first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's neat to see these guys run the times that they do, even if they don't win. And most of the time, the fastest ones don't always win. You know what I mean? The fastest times. You know what I mean? Because something happens, they blow a motor, they blow. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, the excitement's there.
No, I mean, you're right on the fastest times don't always win. Shelby Tabios was 2 cars in front of Lindsay Murphy. You know what I mean? In Wisconsin. But her left side of her Corvette nicked that foam, moved that foam, and she got disqualified. But she was 2 cars out in front of her, So yeah, I not always the fastest person wins, but I say there's a lot of people, take your time for tuning and tune your car with your time, but just don't. What I'm saying is don't hold on to them. You know what I mean? It was use it for your tuning, use it for that day, and then you go on to your next race. You know what I mean? Don't get discouraged if one race you ran a 1.7, you show up at another race and you're only hitting 1.7, 1.82s. Just tune for that day, tune for that track, that asphalt, but then try to do your personal best. So yeah, timing is good, but just don't get discouraged if you're not hitting Jay Joseph's number from Wisconsin, but you're on different asphalt. It's made with different sand. It's made in different temperature. So
yeah, and there's like we talked about earlier, a massive amount of prep on the ground. And the one thing that I like about the times is you got to remember this too. When you're a little kid, when you're 12 years old and you're standing at the bus stop and you're talking about the TV show that you watched the night before, that's what all of us are doing the next day, except we're not at the bus stop. We're at our jobs texting, hey, did you see Brian Elkins run? Did you see Sean South run? Did you see Kevin Jean run? Did you see how fast he was going? Did you see what Lindsay May did? Did you see what Frank did? Whatever. You know what I mean?
No, you're
we're
right.
all talking about it like a bunch of little girls thinking it's great. We're saying, hey, did you see that shit? Did you see what so-and-so was wearing? And did you see so-and-so trip over whatever, spill the Mountain Dew all over whatever, We love all that gossip, all that good stuff. I mean, I think the times are great, because we want to talk trash. We want to say cool. We want to hate. We want to say, man, you believe they did this? I mean, it's fun. It's exciting. If they just say so-and-so beat so-and-so, I mean, I don't know. Yes, I'm sure there's a select few that get discouraged, but like we said earlier, for me, it makes me want to work harder. You get better by running with better people, and I like the time thing, but
you're 100% right on. We are like little girls. Like, did you see this? Did you see that? You know what I mean? Did you, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and I'm sure you've seen it too. I was watching one, a few races ago. I don't remember what the one was, but 2 guys were at the line, and supposedly the wind blew the one guy's car past the starting line, and he was allowed to get it and pull it back. But then the next race, somebody's car blipped, and they're like, nope, you lost. And, we were all talking about that the next day going, man, that was a bunch of, what, because the one before, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes, we'll watch stuff and go, yeah, that was a bad call, or this was a bad call, or, not all the time, but, everyone's going to,
yeah, you're right.
Everyone's going to always complain about something, or they shouldn't allow this or they shouldn't allow that, or, you know, somebody shouldn't have been standing there. Who knows, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, on a race like that, whoever's putting on that race or who's in charge, you got to have that one guy that makes the calls.
Yeah, it's their call.
When he makes the calls, that's just what it is. Everybody that makes bad calls, they own up. Hey, that was a bad call I did a couple of years ago, but you got to make a call at the moment, and it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
My son has jumped on here. My son is on vacation. He has been out in California. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. He's been in California with the Christie family, who Kyle Christie is actually going to be the race director for the SoFlo race in Florida this year for Kid Sims. So he's actually stayed with them for, I want to say 6-8 weeks. He's been out there racing on road and drag racing, but that's him messing us right now. Hi, son. I will see you tomorrow. You're coming home. Your dad's a movie star for the moment. Like Steve said, we're all in the moment, getting pictures and getting autographs. Well, this is my 30, actually an hour and 55 minutes of fame. Thank you.
I love it. I think it's great. I'd go 2 more hours if I knew my thing wasn't going to die. You know?
Yeah, no. This is before I forget, Steve. I can't thank you enough. You've covered everything. We've talked about from Daniel Judd, who was one of the beginners, to Mark Vine, to somebody brought up his name. He's actually on our Team Reckless, is Todd Sotero. That's somebody that we need to get on here. He has all.
Yeah, I've watched, you know, a handful of Todd's videos, and, you know, and
Todd is, yeah,
he's a great dude. You know, I'd love to meet all these guys and just hang out and drink beer and eat pizza with them and just see what they're talking about and all this and that. You know, I think it's great. You know,
no, Todd. If we can ever get Todd to a race, Todd, that man can cook, and he will cook for everybody. Supa Aaron, who did the race up in Utah recently, he cooked for buddies. But yeah, it's the family that's forming in this hobby from East Coast to West Coast, doing what Webb RC is doing right now, getting me talking with Steve. Steve, I've never met you before. Now, when we see each other at a race, we're going to give each other a hug. You know what I mean? I think that's what this whole hobby needs, is to bring it closer. And you've been very positive on here tonight, talking about other prep companies.
Yeah, you don't need to hate the next guy. You don't need to hate the next guy. You know, you know, every once in a while you're going to have somebody message you and go, you know, what the, you know, but, you know, for the most part, everybody's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I guess if I smashed into Mark Vine's car, you know, in the finals, or I don't know, he might be pissed off, but, you know, for the most part, man, if I message somebody to ask them a question, most of the time they're pretty cool about it. You know, I've rarely had anybody, you know, call me up and, you know, scream at me. I mean, it happened one time a few days ago, but, you know, we talked about it and we got it figured out, and, you know, it went right there. You know what I mean? So,
yep. Well, my son has messaged me on my phone here while we've been talking. Your son's still standing right there, correct?
Yes.
So Riley Christie and Caden Phillips have started something a little while ago, and it's called Team Young Bucks. And Chase, my son, has messaged me. He can't get on here. But he's going to be getting a hold of your father, and he would like to know if you would like to join Team Young Bucks. It is only for kids. It's 21 and younger.
Oh, wow.
And you don't have to race. My son's in band. I just signed him up for baseball. He races RC cars. You don't have to do RC. It's for children doing anything. We have somebody on the team that she races horses. Miss Miller races. So just Steve, Caden will be getting a hold of you on your messenger to talk with your
son. Hit me up anytime, any day. You know, I love to talk to people. You know, anybody that wants to try Red Monster, you know, it's great. And you know, ask me anything. You know, if I have any clue of what I'm talking about, I'll try to answer you, respond to you. And, you know, I tell everybody, just hit me up. You know, if I can give you a deal, I'll give you a deal. If I can answer a question, I'll answer a question. And, you know, I love looking on Facebook and see when somebody comments on the Red Monster page. I think it's great. I love it. You know, this is new. You know, again, I didn't start out to do this. It just kind of like fell into my lap. But now that it's in my lap, I'm going to try to make it as great as I can. You know, I want to I want everybody to try it at least once. It's great to be in your box. I think it's pretty good. If it didn't, I wouldn't do it. No one wants to be embarrassed about their stuff.
What is the fastest time that somebody asked this, the fastest known time on Red Monster?
I think middle 160s right now, but again, it went 95 point something miles an hour, almost 96 miles an hour. Now, granted, no one cares about mile an hour, but hey, we're not running 300 people at a race either. So middle 160s is not a bad ET at all. I'm not there yet. I haven't done it. You know what I mean? I have not even come close to it. So for somebody that's tried it, that took off for 3 weeks and came back and ran it, it's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? You don't just wake up and throw your Nikes on and run a 165. You got to kind of know what's happening. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. Kevin said a 167. Wade, he saw it. Gabe said we had a 168 Saturday. Devin, I believe Devin ran a 168.
These are fast guys. These are friends of mine, and they're real. That's not I can't run it. It's good.
One thing that I want to address to people that are listening, if they have not caught it, Steve has said a couple times on here tonight that the prep, these guys are running 167, 168. We just saw, if you guys can see the messages on here, they're running out with less than 20 people at this race. I get the point. What he's trying to say here is we're not having to put his prep on and make 1,000 passes. We're running those times on a natural road with maybe 5 coats on your tire. I get it, but you're able to run into 1.6s on a virgin road. Let's say it that way.
It's no disrespect to anybody that runs with 300 people. I mean, that's great. Shit, I wish I could. I'd love to go to a race like that. But it just goes to show you, if they're doing that on a road like that, imagine what they could do there. I mean, it could be incredible.
No, and I called that earlier, and I wanted to make sure I brought that up. That, I mean, you're supposed to make these good points so people do buy the product. You do want people to go faster. You do want to see the fastest time with Red Monster. I get it. You know what I mean? And that's why I wanted to make sure I brought that up. And
you know what? There's other good preps. MRP's good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good preps. Kelly stuff. Reaction time. There's a lot of great preps out there. But Red Monster is right now it's on the forefront, and the new stuff, Black Label, it's gonna be everything you want, nothing you don't. It's gonna be as seductive of a prep as it can be, and I hope everybody loves it. And hey, if you don't love it, that's great. If it doesn't work for you, that's great. I got a lot of my good friends of mine. They're like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not for me. I'm a get stuck guy. And I'm like, hey, be a get stuck guy. That's great. You know what I mean? Some people are like, I'm MRP for life. That's great. Be MRP. Some people, some days stuff's good. Some days it's not. But like I said, throw it all in the box. Every day's got its, some days it's a got launch day and some days it's not, so.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And anything else you'd like to talk about?
I think that's about it. Let me just look at this right now. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. I mean, I was just looking at, some of the notes I wrote, but yeah, I think we did good. We got 2 hours out of this, and I think I've said everything that I wanted to say. And again, I like talking to other people that kind of do what we're doing, and I love the feedback. If you have Red Monster and say to me, hey, it does this or does this, tell me. Maybe I can tell you why it's doing that or why it's not doing that, or maybe, the nenext time so-and-so goes out, it'll be a 157, so who knows, we're learning more and we're getting better. And, right now we have five things. We have 2 preps, 2 cleaners, and 1 conditioner. And that's good for right now. We're going to try to pump it out as many people as we can and let them try it and love it and see what they think. And, there's a lot of good conditioners out there, and, they're good. Frank's got some good stuff, and, there's a lot of good stuff out there. So, give it a shot.
I'm over here. I got a message. Do you have a package deal? You have the 5 bottles there. So people that are watching right now, if people just say, I want the package, I want the 5 bottles. Do you have a package deal like that going on or anything like that?
Yeah, usually it's all 5 shipped for $80.
All 5 shipped for $80?
Yeah.
Is the shipping free?
All 5 bottles shipped for $80.
Yep. So you get everything. You get the 2 preps, you get the power scrape, you get the aqua ice, and you get the conditioner shipped to your house for $80. Priority mail. You should have it in 1 to 2 days, and it should, hold on, close your eyes, and hope for that 157. It'll do good.
So that's because that's pretty amazing. That's $16 a bottle, and that's without you paying. I mean, you still got to pay shipping out of that, depending on right.
Yeah.
Or we pay shipping out of that 80.
No, I mean, usually I'm, $80, it's to your door for $80. I'm not worried about it. If I lose a few bucks out of shipping, then, whatever. So,
wow, guys,
you're going to get 5 bottles in your mailbox 2 days later from me. Usually it goes out the same day. I work about 3 miles from the from the post office. So it's going out of my lunch break every single day. I've known these people, before it was the prep, it was eBay stuff, all that stuff. So they all know me, and they're happy to see me.
I'm glad this question was asked, because you're not gonna, for such an amazing product, you're not gonna $16 a bottle, guys. 5 bottles for $80 to your front door. Make sure
and if you order more, something, I can even make it even less, maybe the 14 or 13, just depending on how you want. That's why there's not a set price, because if you want more, I will take care of you. We don't have team drivers because, I want you to run whatever works. Like Tony said, if it works, if Beetlejuice works, run it. If Black Label works, run it. I don't want you to be scared that you can't run something else, because you're wearing a Red Monster shirt. Hey, wear a Red Monster shirt, Red Monster hat. And if got launched is what you won with, hell yeah, hold the bottle up. Damn right. You know what I mean? Because if I was that company, I would want you to know. I mean, the worst thing you can do is somebody give you a bottle of their stuff and then you say you won with something else. I mean, that's kind of cruddy, but we know what happens. It happens all the time, and that's just, it's what it is. You know what I mean?
Kevin has messaged. I don't think you saw it, but Kevin wants to know if he can be the model for QVC for your product. He wants to be the model.
He might be too sexy for it. He might be too sexy,
Kevin, we're gonna get back to you on that. I know a lot of people didn't see you ask that question, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask it for you. Steve's going to personal message you about being a model on QVC.
I've seen him in flip-flops. It's something to see.
So. Steve, I can't thank you enough. This was awesome.
I had a great time. I'm glad we got, a little more than 2 hours out of it. I had a lot to say, and, hopefully, going back through the comments tomorrow, I can, respond to some people and, see what they say. And hopefully nobody's flicking me off too bad, disagreeing with me about, whatever. But I try to be as, neutral as I can about everything. Again, is Red Monster the best? Maybe some days. Is it the worst? Probably not. But, hey, some days it's going to be good stuff, No,
and thank you for being there. Honestly, thank you for being that, man. That's not.
Yeah.
Just honestly, you have no idea how much we all appreciate that. And you're 100% right. One day it's going to work. One day it's not going to work on the same asphalt. It's
weird how that is. One day, same tune, same everything. It's amazing. The next day it won't go 5 feet. It's frustrating, but that's how it is. Hang on.
I don't know, Brian, if Caden remembers the whole. I'm hoping his message gets pushed down right away where it says I was a drag queen in Las Vegas. My son's 11. He doesn't need to be admitting that on live TV right now.
Yeah, that's what my son is. He's 11 too.
Yeah, son, you're not a drag queen. I dropped you. Don't worry about that. Steve, thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for letting me come on. It was nice meeting you, and I had a great time.
All right. We will see you guys again. Webb RC is going to take over and throw some commercials up. Everybody, thank you for all your comments, and we will see you guys at the next race. Take care.
All right. Thank you, guys.